Welcome back to I Bet You Think This Podcast is About You. We are S and M, and we are here to raise awareness about cluster B personality disorders and the real life living in the trenches with people who have these antisocial personality disorders and are maybe narcissists or sociopaths or both, maybe. We are not mental health professionals. We are just regular people who only know what we know from our own experiences. We have not diagnosed anyone, at least not publicly. So welcome to episode 4. I'm kind of a big deal. By the way,
you said that perfectly too. Because it does have to be said. Like I'm kind of a big deal.
I'm kind of a big deal. Did you hear? Kind of a big deal. Okay, look. I'm just going to throw this out on the table right now. Okay. I am fucking pumped for this.
Me too.
I have been looking forward to doing this episode for a real long time. I'm cracking my knuckles. It's like Taylor Swift's new album just came out. I'm that excited.
It's so exciting. Were you like doing lunges earlier to get ready for
in my
this?
Office. Yeah, with you.
You know, like pumping it up here.
So here's the deal. The reason I'm so excited about this episode is because this episode is going to revolve around the things that every narcissist says. They are super boring people. They all say the same thing. I don't care if they're your mother or your husband or your next door neighbor. They have these certain statements that they all say.
It's so weird.
And predictable.
I dreamt about this last night, by the way.
Oh my God, so
I dreamt that a narcissist was like getting ready to be a narcissist in life. And so they were reading books and watching movies and figuring out, okay, what do I have to say to be a narcissist? It's weird. Like, how do they all say the exact same things?
Oh, yeah.
Do they have like an underground narcissist like thing that they do?
You know, I don't know. I would like to study this, but I'm not qualified. But I'll tell you, it's bizarre because I'll have conversations with friends of ours and they'll talk about, you know, their narcissistic mother and they'll spit out these statements. I'm like, holy shit, they all say that. They all say that.
They do.
So this is, you know, I'm channeling, this is my dream. I dreamt that I had a time machine and I could go back and listen to my own podcast and then run for the hills. So this is to me. This is to us of a few years ago. Get ready. It's going to be brutal, but here we go. So we're going to start with number 1, the title of this episode. I'm kind of a big deal. Have you ever heard somebody say they're kind of a big deal?
I certainly have. Shall I tell my story?
You should.
Okay. I'll make this brief because I do want to get to all these points. But
I like it when you elaborate.
So this was a recent situation that happened, and I'm sure some people listening could relate to this. So there's this guy in my life, and we were basically, I friend zoned him. Let's just get it out there. I've known him for a few years. We were like acquaintances, and I kind of put him into the friend zone. But like he would kind of ask me out, and then I was either dating someone, or it was just this, you know, for years it was kind of this weird back and forth. And even though I was like, oh, I'm not really attracted to him, there was something about like, I don't know, the back and forth that I was like, oh, maybe this is like kind of fun. So fast forward to a few weeks ago where I did actually go out with him just like for a drink. You know, it was fine, but I was like, I'm not feeling this. And at this point in my life, I'm very upfront and direct. I don't play games. I either like you or I don't. Like I'm interested or I'm not. So I was pretty direct, like I just wasn't very interested, you know, but I said it in a nice way. But he wouldn't leave it alone. And here's the thing. Like, I love it when guys pursue me and ask me out. I love that if I've given you the green light. But when I basically said, you know, no, thank you, he kept going and he kept going. So it was almost like he was trying to hard sell me on dating him. And I'm like, this is so weird. He's like, you really deserve a guy that's like this, and I would do this and I would do that. Okay, so to sum it all up, his clothes, like the thing that he said to me that he thought would just get me in the door. He's like, you know, I was kind of a big deal in high school.
Just for clarification, okay? Like, has he even stepped foot in a high school in the last decade?
No. And this is over text, but I was like, you know, on a rainy day, if there was like one person left on the planet and I would maybe have a date with you. But after you said that, Like someone would have to pay me money to even like ever go out with you. It was just, I'm so
Girl, just please, for me, just tell our listeners what was hanging in his closet when you walked in.
Okay. So
this is the best.
Okay, so when you drive into his home and you go in through the garage, you'll know you're there. If you're like, is my MapQuest right? You're gonna know. You'll know because the first thing that you see is his high school jersey with his last name on it.
He's framed. It's still there.
I don't know if the high school's even still there anymore, but I mean that's there. So yeah, that's the story behind.
So I can really relate to this. Just the whole sports thing, right? So, I mean, if you are involved with anyone who is reliving their high school glory days when they're like, I don't know, 60, maybe they haven't done anything else since then. What the hell is that? I will tell you, this is so, and I can't believe I didn't call him out on this, but this dude is telling me about every high school football game he ever played in. By the way, he went to a shitty school in the middle of nowhere where he was like in a class of like 50, right? Like, and he was like, I was a really good wide receiver. I'm like, who cares? That was like I wasn't even alive then.
There were two people in the bleachers that saw it.
No, if they remember every score of every game, every play they had, their coaches' names, what their number was, if they still use their high school football number as part of their password.
P.S. That means they have absolutely nothing to offer you.
Right. I mean, maybe they're a little narcissistic about those glory days.
Yeah.
And I used to get the line from my ex-narc that all guys do that. No, they don't. Nope. Found out that's not true. They don't all relive their glory days.
No. Right.
As though they were still on the bench. Oh my God, they'll send you pictures of themselves in high school playing like sports. You're like, you were like 16. Is that hot? That's not hot.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, anytime somebody tries to tell you they were a big deal or are a big deal.
Well, that's the thing with all narcs is that generally speaking, that's all they're trying to do is like make you think that they are a big deal, Like that's part of what they're doing every day, whether it's like covertly or overtly, is they're kind of a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
At work,
they grandstand.
Or wherever, they grandstand, right.
So, all right. So number two. Now I got to be a little careful about this one because everybody says this, but it's how they say it and what they mean. Mm-hmm. When they come out with the "I love you," which will be maybe like the second time you ever saw them.
Yes,
I love you.
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't mean I love you. If someone says I love you, and what you hear is, I love what you do for me. Mm-hmm. And I like the way you make me feel about myself. Sometimes they'll even say that, I love the way you make me feel. That is a really big red flag.
Yep.
Right? Because it just shows that they don't really know what love is. Like loving somebody isn't loving the way they make you feel. You love them because of some intrinsic value that they have on the face of planet Earth and you're glad they're alive. Not, I love that you buy me gifts and do my laundry. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But they know you want to hear that, though, because it's like intoxicating to hear that. It feels good to hear that as like humans. We want that connection naturally. Mm-hmm. That's why I think they say it. Like one of the reasons they say it, because it's like, oh, wow. I mean, that was really early for them to say that. But this must be a really special connection, which is like, there's another one that we have on here. They kind of go hand in hand.
These all kind of go hand in hand.
You're my soulmate.
You're my soulmate.
You're my soulmate.
Yeah. Let's talk about what that means. Because when they say that, you're my soulmate, what they really mean is I have recognized now that I have power over you and I can control everything you do.
Yep.
That is when they tell you that you're their soulmate, you should get out. Because that's when the bad behavior starts. If they can convince you that you're soulmates and nothing could ever separate you because you are meant to be together, that means he is up to no good and out doing whatever the hell he wants.
Because, like, if you really feel like you are soulmates with someone,
you don't tell
you don't
them.
have to say, you don't tell them. You don't have to be, like, talk about it. It just sort of is like it just goes without saying with your relationship.
Yeah. I mean, that's dangerous territory.
Yeah.
The soulmate territory with a narcissist is really dangerous. And if you even suspect that you're with someone who's got a personality disorder or is a sociopath and they tell you that you're their soulmate, number one, you don't want to be soulmates with a sociopath. Like, they don't even have a soul.
No.
So what does that mean? but it means, what it means is they're going to manipulate the shit out of you.
Yep.
On the line I got all the time. And, I didn't know what it meant at the time. And now I look back and I'm like, that was really crappy and weird. But I would get the line, you deserve better than me, or all I do is let you down. Those two are the same to me, like flip sides of the same coin. That, I think, partially is letting the mask slip a little bit, where they really know that you deserve better than them.
Yep.
But when I look at it from like the 1,000-yard view, what they're really saying, I used to get the line, I'm just tired of letting you down all the time. All I do is let you down, right?
Then stop letting me down.
That's what I said. I was like, well, you don't have to do that, then don't do that. But what he's really saying is I'm not going to apologize for my behavior. I'm going to say, the bad part about all of this is that you're let down by it.
That's a good point.
Right?
Because they don't ever apologize.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not, hey, I'm really sorry I did that. I'm going to change and try to do better. It's, I'm sorry you're let down. That's too bad. That's so fucking weird.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is really weird.
And when you flip these around, it's like, have you ever said that to anyone?
No.
Right. That's the thing. Like, I would get that line maybe like 10 times a week. And I'm just like, what does that mean? And then when I finally got rid of him and I'm thinking about all the crazy shit he said to me, I'm like, that was weird. No, I've never said that to anybody in my life. I wouldn't say, I'm sorry I let you down. I'm tired of letting you down. I would just stop letting them down.
Right. I just don't let people down. I mean, it happens every now and then.
I'm not going to say I haven't.
Right. No, I'm not saying I don't ever, but in my intimate relationships, I don't make a habit of constantly letting people down.
Yeah. It's like, it's too bad you're disappointed. It's not too bad I suck.
Right.
Too bad I suck as a person.
Yeah.
What else? You guys?
Well, this next one is just so weird because I've heard this from men and women, and it's in relation to tattoos of all things. And in this particular case, because I love tattoos, I love talking about them. I don't have any, which is ironic, but I love them on other people. And I can think of two specific situations where I was having conversations with a male narc and a female narc, and I asked if they would ever have tattoos. And they had the exact same response, word for word, which was, why would I ever put a bumper sticker on a Porsche? I don't even know what to say to that. I'm like, first of all, that's not a bad idea. But I mean, isn't that just, it's weird. Because like when I heard it, these were like years apart, two different people, not related, both narcs. I was like, holy shit.
They are so vain though.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I have seen, like aging narcissists who, they're nothing to write home about. And they will spend so much money on clothes and cars. And I'm just like, you are still you. It doesn't matter what you're wearing or, that you bought $2,000 eyeglasses. You still wear eyeglasses and, you're still you. And the vanity there, it's like you can't, the attempt to cover up what they are and mask it with all these trappings of success and I'm so wonderful. I don't get it. It's weird. Yeah. And then to be so ostentatious about it. I mean, yeah, you compare yourself to, well, first of all, you're comparing yourself to an inanimate object, which I think is also very telling. Right? You're comparing yourself to a car.
Right.
That's weird. But they think, I think when they say things like that, it's mostly to reassure themselves because they know you don't think they're that amazing. You don't think that that dude is the Porsche of humans, right?
Right.
But maybe. I mean, maybe they really think that. Yeah. I could go on and on.
Oh,
on this
yeah, I
topic.
know. I love. Oh wait, this next sorry. Anyway, yeah, next one.
Okay. Well, see. Okay. So this one has to do when they're lying and they're gaslighting you.
Yes.
So this is when it always comes up when you call them out on a lie and you say, "No, you're lying to me. That didn't happen," or whatever. And there's no way for them to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say, "Well, that's your issue." That's your issue.
Or that's on you.
That's on you. Mm-hmm. Does that, so you'll go to this person in your life who you think cares about you because you're stupid or haven't listened to this podcast. God. And you're like, you did this really shitty thing and it was terrible. You didn't text me back for 4 days and I thought you were dead and now you reappear on the scene and it's like nothing ever happened, right? Like just for instance. And you say, that really bothers me. I really wish that you would at least let me know that you're busy or otherwise engaged and I can expect not to hear from you for a few days. Something reasonable. And they'll say, oh, yeah, that's your issue.
Oh,
maybe somebody treated you badly. Did somebody do that? Did somebody treat you badly in the past? Is that what you're talking about?
Must be all your abandonment issues.
Must be all your abandonment issues. Or, yeah. Or you, this is, okay. This is a true story. True story. And I don't even remember what the issue was. But at some point I was getting super fed up. And I was like, look, you run hot and cold. Constantly. Mm-hmm. Hot and cold, hot and cold. You are either my best friend or I don't even know that you're still on planet Earth. Right? So, we're either attached at the hip or I can't even find you. And I can't believe I'm admitting this. He says to me, he goes, you're crazy sometimes. You're just like cyclically crazy. Cyclically crazy being when he's running cold on me and I have no idea where he is or couldn't find him. Then those are the times when I'm crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So that's your issue. That's your issue, S. Sometimes you're just cyclically crazy. You should go to therapy. I'm like, okay. I was like, I can do therapy. Like, I like working on myself because, I'm crunchy granola. I'll do that. So I'm like, I don't say anything because, it's probably during a cold period. And I'm like, I'll go see a therapist. I get a therapist, go to therapy. Next time I see him, I'm like, yeah, I had therapy today. First thing he says to me, what did he say about me? And I was like, I really didn't get into you really today. I've only went once. And then he says, I swear to God, this is on the heels of saying, you're cyclically crazy, you need therapy. He says, I don't want you to see the therapist anymore. He's going to tell you to leave me.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh. He's going to tell you to leave me. I don't think you should see him.
Wow.
I know. That was right at the end.
Wow.
Oh, by the way, he was right.
I was going to say, well, yeah.
He did tell me.
Therapists will probably be like, what are you doing with that person? I would suggest exiting that relationship.
Like, wow, you gave me good advice for once. That's the best thing you ever did for me. Yeah.
But that's, they don't want to take responsibility for anything. And if you start to, and also too, see how basically he subtly said your feelings and you do not matter in this?
Yeah.
That's basically what he's saying with that's your issue, you're crazy. I don't know if we got to that one.
That's the next line we're hitting. That's the next line on the list is
you're crazy.
You're crazy. And my personal favorite, all of my exes are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
All my exes are crazy.
Mm-hmm. No, you made them crazy.
Right. Every guy's allowed one crazy ex.
Yeah.
Right? Or every girl's allowed one crazy. You get one crazy ex. You have two, and it's him.
Well, that's the thing. If you start dating someone and they immediately start talking about their crazy exes, oh.
Well, I mean, and maybe they are a little crazy, but he probably made them crazy.
Yes.
Narcissists make people act crazy because you can't.
They feel important. They feel important when people are going crazy.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they can brag, all these women are going crazy for me.
Then you start to
they'll
think
say
you are
this, like,
crazy though. Like you were like, oh my God, maybe that was a little, am I crazy?
Oh yeah, the line, this is this is a total tell, not on our list, but when they say, I tried to break up with her and she, won't leave me alone because she's crazy. That tells you he never tried to break up with her. They're still together.
That's true.
They are still together.
Yeah.
No, if that line is ever uttered to you, tell him he's lying because he's lying or she's lying. Because when someone breaks up with you and doesn't ever want anything to do with you, you don't like still call and hang out. I mean, these are normal people. Yeah, I used to hear the line, you'll love this one. Bitches be crazy. All the bitches be crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
Grow up, dude.
Bitches, he couldn't grow up anymore, let me tell you.
Ugh. I love this next one.
Yeah, what is it?
Oh, I was just joking. I was just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I get that one. I've gotten that a lot when they are backed into a corner and you can literally shove the phone in their face and show them the text message, like whatever situation. If you're like, you said this, and they're like, oh no, they usually will start with a lie. No, I didn't say that. So if you can prove it with like a written document, that's when they'll be like, oh, I was just kidding. I was kidding.
That's why you save the screenshots, by the way.
I was like, geez, you're really funny all the time because you're literally kidding about everything.
Okay. When they say I was just kidding, if it's not funny, they weren't
not
kidding.
Funny. It's never funny. That's why I'm like, what about that is funny? I'm sitting here with tears down my face. I'm like, what? This isn't funny. So I feel like I hear that a lot when they're backed into a corner and they can't, their lies are no longer working. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden everything's just so funny.
And then when you start crying, they say, you're overreacting.
Yes.
You are so dramatic or just overly sensitive.
Right.
That's the crazy making.
Mm-hmm.
They will push and push and push and push until you just can't take it anymore. You see a lot of this with narcissistic parents who are hyper controlling of your situation or, overly involved in your life, try to tell you what to do, and you push back on that. And you're like, I don't really think you're respecting my boundaries. They're like, well, you're just so sensitive. You were always the sensitive one.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone tells you that your emotions are somehow not valid because they exist or you feel them too strongly, that's a problem.
That's a huge problem. And I think we touched on the patriarchy in our last episode, and that goes into this because women in general were sort of taught that we are the emotional ones and that, we can't run for office or be an elected official because we're emotional. We can't make rational business decisions. Joe. A joke.
Or when they say, you have cycles and you get moody. Don't you love that? Like, we can't elect you as president because you would start a nuclear war every 28 days. That is the worst.
Are you kidding me? Oh, I could go into political stuff, but okay.
We're about to.
Yeah.
Well, and the oversensitive thing to me, honestly, is quintessential projection.
Yeah.
Because they are the most sensitive people you have ever met in your life. If you criticize any little tiny aspect of their life, they come unglued.
Yep.
And so when they are telling you you're overly sensitive, it's not you, it's them. I mean, I've been screamed at because I didn't like a town. I was like, I don't really want to live there. I think I want to live in this. I want to move in this other neighborhood. Literally got screamed at because that is the best place in the whole world. And why would everybody want to live there?
So weird.
And I'm like, what the fuck do you care?
Yeah.
So that is them turning everything on its head and projecting onto you the sensitivities that they have. And let me tell you, I mean, maybe this is just me, but I had a conversation with a sociopath one time where he said to me, I feel like a fraud. He's like, I feel like in my career, my family, everywhere, every aspect of my life, I feel like everyone's better than me and I'm a total fraud. It's like the one time he let his mask slip. And I'm like, you are a fraud. You're a total fraud. I didn't realize it at the time. I was like, wow, you just have really low self-esteem, which is weird because you act like you're God's gift. But that was very telling. But this is one thing they actually don't say, right? This is the absence of a statement. But if they never apologize.
Oh my gosh, never.
They will never say, I'm sorry,
Never.
because when you say you're sorry, that says you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't admit it. So they'll
They're
say
never
things
wrong.
like, I'm sorry I feel that way. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I'll do something different in, the next time. But they'll never say, I'm sorry I did that to you. That was wrong of me.
Have you ever had a narc actually say, I'm sorry you feel that way? Like that
Every time.
Makes me want to jump out of, I will go crazy. I will go crazy if you say, I'm
Can I
sorry
watch?
you feel that way.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you're not sorry about anything. And
Right.
you're, again, putting everything on me and not taking responsibility for actions.
They're only sorry that you have feelings. Oh, yeah. And so here's how sorry we talked about this recently. They're sorry that you have feelings to the point where they'll say things during an argument or not even an argument, you just want to have a discussion about something that doesn't sit right with you. And they're like, I just want this argument to be over. I just don't want to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And because the natural progression of that argument is taking responsibility for your actions and doing something different. So they're saying, I don't like to fight. I just don't like to fight. I just don't want to talk. I just don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yep. Right.
I just want this to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Just instantly done. Yeah,
Which
that's weird.
Invalidates you, and then that's like how they keep you.
They literally just want to pretend like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like Donald Trump. He doesn't ever apologize.
I was going to say that earlier. You want to talk about emotionally unstable people? I mean, there you go.
You know what? I'm just going to, at risk of revealing my politics right now, I'm just going to say, look, our president is a psychopath.
Oh, yeah.
And
hands down.
And won't apologize for anything ever or ever admit wrongdoing. Oh, and lies. Like, when he's not sleeping, he's lying. That's what he does. Like, sleep and lie. Sleep, lie, never apologize. It's just, yeah, I mean, I actually get triggered now seeing the president on television because he reminds me of all of the terrible times that I had to put up with somebody like that in my life. And it's like his voice is like fingernails on a chalkboard, and let's forget about even looking at him because even if he was the nicest guy in the world, that'll make your eyes bleed. So I've gotten a few, there are a few times where I've had this experience, and I've talked to a few other people who've had similar experiences when you just push comes to shove and you're done, right? If you're trying to carve these people out of your life because they're toxic, toxic parent or a toxic coworker, toxic relationship, and you're just like, look, I'm finished. I can't do this anymore. We have to go our separate ways. They will say the line, I will do whatever it takes to keep you.
But P.S., they won't.
Here's the thing. That's just a lie.
Totally.
Yeah, that is like a last-ditch effort, bold-faced, fucking straight, look you in the eye lie. And they tell it because they don't have anywhere else to turn.
Right.
Nothing is going to change. Nothing will change. They'll lie more. They're incapable of changing. So nothing's going to change. But when they drop that line on you, just don't trust it because it's told just to manipulate you. Because and what's interesting is if you push them on that, this is what we were talking about, I think, in episode 1. You say, okay, well, this is what it takes to keep me. Can you do those three things? And they won't.
Yep. They'll get ghosted.
Yeah, right?
Totally get ghosted.
Yep.
And also, too, if they were listening to you and they actually cared about you, they wouldn't have to say, I'll do anything to keep you. You should already be doing the things to keep a relationship going.
Right.
You know, like they don't even know what it would be.
Well, and that's the thing, too. So when you get to that next step and they say, I'll do whatever it takes to keep you, and you say, okay, do X, Y, and Z don't happen, and then you tell them X, Y, and Z didn't happen, the next line you'll get is, I'll never let you go. I've had it. I've heard it. Every person that I've talked to who's unfortunately been in a relationship with someone who has an antisocial personality disorder has heard this same line. Like, you can do whatever you want to me, but you're not leaving. I won't. I got this one. I won't accept a life without you.
Oh, boy.
I know. And I mean, that's when you're getting into stalker territory.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a whole other episode. What happens when you finally, get your strength back and take ownership of your life and you do leave them behind, whether they ever actually disappear out of your life or not. But that, like I said, that's a whole other episode.
Mm-hmm.
This one's fun. Why are you so insecure? By the way, this is just a rhetorical question. This is like when two third graders on the school bus say, "Why do you suck so bad?" Really, you don't want to. And when the bus driver's like, "You're in trouble. You can't say things like that." You're like, "I didn't say he sucked. I asked him why." It was a question. I was asking a question.
That's so a projection. Well, first of all, their whole thing is they want you to be insecure. They do things to make you insecure. They flirt with the waiter. They everything. Yes. They want you. Even you can start out a very secure individual going into a relationship, and by the end of that thing, you will feel insecure. That's like it's really difficult. But then, why are you so insecure? Are you kidding?
Oh my gosh! Let me tell you something. Let me tell you about
and
this.
That's also not very inviting. It's not like,
oh, no. No.
Maybe we should talk about, like, you seem like you're having a bad day. Why are you so insecure? Is like, you're a piece of shit. Yeah. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah. Why aren't you as great as me?
Yeah.
So this is a little bit of a tangent. This is fun, though. So recently, like last week, it was last week. So I went to my neighborhood pub with a friend of mine who you know. And this isn't like a nightclub, okay? This is literally like a shitty bar. We went to this shitty bar that we can walk to from our houses, and it's a friend of mine and I, and we're in like yoga pants and hoodies and flip-flops, like not there to impress. We're there just to hang out and bitch about life, right? At the little bar, mind our own business. And this guy comes in, and I know him from the community, and he's a fucking crazy psychopath. He's nuts, right? Mm-hmm. Oh God, I don't even want to psychoanalyze him. He's crazy. Also knows my ex, which is funny because maybe birds of a feather really do flock together. And he sits at the bar and says, "This is a grown man. He's like 50s, and he says, ladies, can someone pay attention to me?"
Ew.
I know, and we're like, "Shut up! Don't talk to us." And he gets progressively more, assholey about it.
Disgusting.
Just so gross, right? And then he starts calling us girls, which is my other favorite. Yeah. Girls. Mm-hmm. And then he says, "Come on, girls, this dick doesn't suck itself." And I was like, "It better learn how, because it's never going to get sucked again." You run around that line. And everyone, totally shut down by two
like sexual harassment.
Yeah, we're like totally shut down by these like two hoodie wearing, ponytail clad like middle-aged women. And he turns and he's like, "You're ugly. Anyway, it's fine."
That's what he said? Oh my gosh.
He's like, "Why are you so bitchy? Why are we so bitchy? Because you suck. That's why we're bitchy." Oh
my gosh. Oh my gosh. What a freaking idiot.
Oh, yeah. So it's like the line of, along the lines
I'd be like, why are you so at the bar by yourself? Oh, okay. That's, yeah. Now we see why.
Girl, he wasn't even at the bar by himself. He was with this other guy who I sort of barely kind of know. And the next morning, this other guy hunts me down via Facebook Messenger. Like, he doesn't have my number. We're not Facebook friends or anything. Finds me and sends me this message that's like, "I'm super sorry for my friend last night. He's an asshole." No shit. I'm like, so I responded, "You're going to love this. You'll be so proud of me." I said, "Well, when your friend wonders why he's single, you can remind him what he said last night." He's like, "I will." Good. Oh, here's my favorite. This is the best.
No, the best one is coming up, but this is a good one.
You have trust issues. That means I'm lying and I don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
I want you to stop.
Translation.
I am lying. I'm lying, and I need to quickly make this conversation about something other than how I'm lying.
Also, like most people to some degree have a little bit of trust issues. Like if you've lived in this world and you've been an adult for a certain period of time, most people,
Well, if I did and I do now.
Level, so it's like, again, like what do they even mean by that?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, no, but
everything's your fault.
They create all the trust issues.
Absolutely.
They create the trust issues because they're lying liars.
Yes. It's all a facade.
Oh.
And you know that. Even if it's just like this feeling in your gut, like something's wrong. You can't trust them. But you have trust issues.
Yeah. So this one's fun too. You'll never find someone else like me. Which, by the way, is probably true, and I hope it is.
I hope that's true. Oh my gosh!
They're like, no, I'm your soulmate. Nobody gets me. It's like that whole vein, right? Mm-hmm. I understand you better than anybody else,
right?
And no one else will. You're never going to meet someone else like me. No one else will ever love you like I loved you. And you're like, good, because if that's love, I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Except when you're in it, then you're all a head case. And
yeah.
But once you get out of it, it's great. But if anybody ever tells you you're never going to find somebody like me, say that's a good thing.
So arrogant. It's like, screw off.
Well, and what they're really trying to do is they're trying to head off any attempt that you have at leaving them at the pass.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, oh, well, you can look. These other guys are flirting with you or hitting on you, but you're never going to find anybody like me. And they're trying to marginalize you so that you stay with them.
Yeah. This next one is my favorite. It's yours. This is kind of yours, but this is my favorite. Are you ready?
Hit it, girl.
I can't find my wallet.
I forgot it. That means I'm a cheap bastard, and you're going to have to pay every time. Every time.
Who can't find their wallet?
Oh my God. Oh, and here's the better part. He always had a place he found it. Like he went all in on that story. Like I found the wallet between my seat in the car and the seat in the center console, or I found my wallet in the recycling bin. That was weird. And I'm like, you always had your wallet, you lying piece of shit.
Oh, I love that one so
I know,
much.
that's a good one. Oh, this is good. I have never said this to anybody, and if someone says this to you, like the hair on the back of your neck should stand up. If they say, sometimes I lie, or I lie a lot, that is the mask slipping. That is, I've actually heard that, and sometimes it's when they let their guard down. Sometimes they're drinking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And they'll just admit to being a liar. Yeah.
I've had that. The last
it's an eerie feeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whenever he would become either drunk or high or something like that, he basically told me he was a sociopath. I mean, essentially.
Yeah.
He didn't say those words, but when his guard would totally come down, and he trusted me, and he would say things like that. And
because I think this goes against popular
gosh.
wisdom, but I think they know.
They might. I know this one did because he did a lot of research on psychology.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think he actually probably did know that.
And he was in the
himself.
military too, right? So they test him.
He was a sniper.
Oh, shit. He's definitely a sociopath.
Yeah. But they do tell you that.
Yeah. Sometimes I lie. Okay.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. So do you have any more?
I think that's pretty much it.
They're all kind of along the lines of the same thing. It's all grandiosity and then trying to cover up and blame everything. Blame shift, right? Everything's your fault. Everything's your issue. It can't possibly be them because they're this amazing, wonderful person, and you're just so lucky to have them in your life, and you'll never find anyone else just like them. But here's a line that I said, and I think you mentioned, maybe you've said it too. And this is the line that I said, and I kick myself for not listening to my gut. But if you've ever had to say to someone in your life, or ask someone in your life, who are you? Get the hell away from them. I'm so serious about that. If you have somebody who shows up as a different human being in different settings, that is like the biggest red flag you could possibly get. If you look at their social media account and then who they are with you, and then who they are with like their mother, and then who they are at work, and none of those people are the same people, they're all different, they are a sociopath. Mm-hmm. If you've ever looked someone in the eye and said, who are you? You just don't even bother having that conversation because you don't know, and neither do they.
They don't know either. Right?
They don't know who they are either. They are whoever they want to be to every particular person. And it has to be exhausting, right? To keep up a different facade and to remember which facade belongs to which person. Mm-hmm. And they'll mess up. They'll start messing up. They'll start talking to you about like something that you really enjoy, except it's not something that you really enjoy. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, this is a facade for someone else.
Right.
It is insane.
It's crazy.
It's troubling. I mean, there are few other things that I've said, but that's the one where I'm just like, wow, I really should have listened to my gut on that one. I
think the other thing too, and a really good guy friend of mine told me this years ago when I was the kind of person that I'm such a romantic, and I would hold on to words. Like if they said, I'll do this or I'll be that. This is years ago before I really did a lot of my personal work. I would be that person who's just gaslighted and ghosted and think that maybe they'd come back around. But what he kept saying to me, and I always tell this even now to myself, in every way, whether it's a professional setting or personal setting, actions, not words.
Yeah.
It does not matter what they say. I even say this in my professional life. I'll tell my people I'm working with, you can tell me this, you can tell me that, but I'm just going to watch what you do, because that's what I look for is their actions. Because people can say anything, especially text. They can just be these like master texters, but there's nothing behind it. It's all to just watch what the people in your life do. That's what matters, not what they say.
Talk is cheap.
Yeah.
Talk is cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So both S and I, if we would have been given this podcast, it would have saved us from years of therapy bills and miserable relationships. So
you know what, though? We wouldn't be doing this podcast.
I know.
So, hey. Everything has a silver lining. Right, all things being equal, though, I still wish I never met that fucker. So, anyway, so thanks for joining us. And check out our Instagram under S&M Podcast and leave us a little note. We always respond. Well, yeah, we always respond if we can, if it's not spam or something ridiculous like booty shots. And if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, go back and check those out.